Let's just. All right. Normally we wouldn't do a podcast back to back, but it's WrestleMania season, so I think whenever big things happen, even if it's WrestleMania or just something in general, I think we'll do podcasts more like this. I think this is episode 82. I might have my numbers mixed up. 82 might be the next one. I don't know, but we're just going to run with it. Um, I should be more prepared with that, but I'm not. Um, we're going to, but my great co host, before I even get into other stuff, because I'm just everywhere right now, Felix, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. um, yeah, watched WrestleMania. It was a pretty good WrestleMania, I thought in general, especially night two. But that's something I'll get more in depth with later. I don't think WrestleMania was as bad as people were making it out to be. And no, I'm not talking about the ending. The ending was really bad, but overall, the WrestleMania wasn't as bad as I think people are making out to be. But I'll talk more about that in depth. Raw after WrestleMania was really good. Um, from what I saw of it in clips I saw. I haven't seen the whole show because I was at work during it. But I saw a few clips on like YouTube and on X and places like that. So yeah. From what I saw, very good Raw after WrestleMania. I'm excited for SmackDown later this week. So, but yeah, we're here to just pretty much go over WrestleMania and Raw after WrestleMania and pretty much give our thoughts and what we think is going to happen in the future, etc., etc. So yeah, pretty good.
Um, the first thing I will say, we won't talk about the Raw after Mania yet, but the one thing I want to say, and I kind of said it off camera, I think Triple H really knew, and it's weird. It's weird. He already knew. I mean, of course, he already knew the ending to the main event, the what I call the true main event. I don't care what you say about this night one, night two BS. The true main event is on night two, where you send the fans home either happy or pissed off or confused or both, like they kind of probably were. Um, but he knew the ending to the true main event, and if you've seen any of his interviews or clips of interviews like before this week or starting of the week where he had it, on WWE's YouTube page, went on other people's podcasts and everything. He was trying to deflect stuff with the fans about being critics and all that, blah 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 blah. I didn't agree with that part at all because if you're a fan of something, of course you're going to watch it. But we're going to be very critical of stuff that's kind of average to bad, and we're going to praise stuff when it is like great.
Yeah, I mean it's like that with fans of any media or like any sort of entertainment, like a TV show or like anything like that, video game, whatever. People are going to criticize what they think is not good and praise what is good. Like it's just like wrestling is just like any other form of entertainment. It's an opinions business. Like you got it's not a bad thing for people to be critical of something. Like, sure, can some people be over the top sometimes with criticism and sort of be too much with it? Sure, um, but at the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their own opinion about what they watch and if they like it or not. And yeah, I just think Triple H dismissing like the fans who watch it at home because I think he said something along the lines of the fans in in the arenas and in the crowds are the opinions that truly matters, and it just felt like the people who watch it at home, like us or people who do watch it at home, our feelings and our opinions are being invalidated a little bit by Triple H there, which I don't like. That's what he's kind of doing. Um, but yeah, I think he said something with that along with the lines of Jey Uso, but it was like, oh, Jey Uso is like incredibly over with the crowd and the fans and all that. Like the people who complain about Jey Uso online, their opinion doesn't matter. That's kind of what he was implying. Um, which I don't agree with. Like, sure, Jey Uso's incredibly over with the crowd, and that's why he's the world champion now. And like, fair play to him. I'm not saying he's not over, but there is that side of fans as well that think Jey Uso is like cringy or overpushed or overrated. I'm kind of in the middle, like with Jay. Like I appreciate him. I don't think he's completely overrated. I don't think he's bad. I think he's very good, and I think he does provide a role in the roster. But if it was me booking it, I would not have him as my world champion. That's just me. So I kind of have a middle ground with Jey Uso. Um, but yeah, that going a slight bit off topic, but yeah, I just don't like how Triple H is kind of invalidating the fans a little bit, the ones who watch it at home, and kind of invalidating that they shouldn't have an opinion on certain things and criticize certain things about the product. No matter what you say, fans on the internet will say their opinion. This is just what's gonna happen.
You know, I don't understand that statement by him because, well, I mean, I kind of do now because he already knew that the ending was going to be crap or something, and I guess they had already planned that or whatnot. We'll get into that, but you hear his interviews. He basically told you who was going to win the world titles in the interviews, which is crazy to me
Mm.
because the way he was talking and everything. So, um, the only thing I don't get is be a fan, just watch it, blah blah blah. That and or you if you want to be a critic, then you're a critic. You're not a fan. That doesn't make any sense to me because say I'm watching a TV show and it's a TV show I like. Say they have an episode that is just not that good. You think I'm going to say, you know, I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It was still good.
Like,
I,
here's an example of a TV show that was very wildly loved and acclaimed, and eventually was put under a lot of criticism, especially for its ending. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, one of the most popular TV shows of this generation. Everyone was watching, everyone was loving it. Like, it was literally like probably the most popular TV show in the world at one point. And when it got to its ending, like everyone, like I personally never watched Game of Thrones. I do want to watch it though. I'm not gonna lie, because I just want to actually just watch it for once. It's just it's not as accessible for people over here in the UK because there's no HBO and all that shit. But yeah, when it got to its ending, everyone was criticizing Game of Thrones and its ending, and rightfully so, because I've heard it was like a pretty bad ending. It's and that actually is a perfect like comparison to Cena and Cody because it was all about the ending. Like the result, Cena winning the title. That's not everyone was complaining about. It was the way it ended. There was no payoff. There was no payoff to The Rock. There was no payoff to why Cena sold his soul in the first place. It like honestly, that storyline could have just happened without The Rock being involved at all. At all. Like there was no reason for it. The Rock being involved was ultimately a waste of time. So, like, if you're gonna have The Rock be involved in the storyline, then you gotta have a payoff there. You gotta have The Rock show up at Mania, have that payoff, and then that way people would feel a lot better about that thing. I have Game of Thrones on my Sky thing, but I've never been too compelled to watch it personally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's each to their own. But yeah, Game of Thrones is kind of like my comparison with it because like everyone loved it, everyone loved Game of Thrones for a long time, and then once it got to its end, everyone was complaining about the ending, saying it was pretty bad and it should have ended a lot better. Blah blah blah. The Walking Dead is another one, and that's my favorite TV show of all time. The Walking Dead started off fantastically, like everyone was loving it, and then as it got on, it got a bit stale and got a bit boring, and then people started like shitting on it a bit more as it got into its later seasons. So it's just one of them. It's like fans are allowed to criticize product that they watch. Like just because they criticize it doesn't mean they're not fans and they're just critics. That's not how it works. You can criticize something and still be a fan of it. It's like anything else. Is basically what I'm trying to say. But
it,
yeah, we'll go more in depth about the ending of WrestleMania when we get onto it. But I, in particular, will have a big rant about it because I'm pretty sure you would have had the opportunity to rant about it in your in your stream after I did watch it, but like I pretty sure you would have ranted about it, so I haven't
So
had my chance to rant about it. So I've got things to say.
so this is the I said it on my review that me and you were going to do a podcast this week. I'll recap what I thought about it, but mostly it's going to be let you get your emotions out and everything.
Yeah.
So if I can remember this on night two, I always go from top to bottom in order, and it's very tough, especially when you have a crap ending like that. But I always do it like that. I got to like the 25th minute on the stream, and I didn't end till almost over an hour. So I ranted about it for about over 30 minutes.
What? Just on the main event?
Yes.
Wow. Fair play.
But
Fair play.
I mean, I was talking to Josh and then others that was in here and all that, but it was a good over 30 minutes. So, but
Wow.
not to go back to the TV show. I got one thing to say. Why do these writers on TV shows the show could be so good for so many seasons, but they do not know how to write a fucking ending, bro? Look, two shows that come into mind. That's two of my favorite shows. One is The Blacklist. The ending was shit. Like the show overall was so good. I mean, it had 10 seasons. The show was so good. I mean, and there was like one season that was bad because it was during COVID. So,
Mm,
like they had to make it more animated than the scene, and it kind of that's the only reason the season kind of wasn't good.
mm.
But that and then Dexter, two of the worst endings I've seen to shows. I'm not going to spoil it if anyone is, watching it right now or come through the and watch this when it gets on YouTube, like after the stream. I don't want to spoil it, but two of the most bad endings. I don't know what happened to these TV show writers that they cannot write an ending, but it kills me. That's all I'm
It's
gonna say.
it's like that with a lot of my shows that I've loved and watched. Like a lot of my favorite shows, like they just always seem to not be able to do a good ending. Like it's like, all right, we know how to do like good seasons and good episodes throughout the entire thing, but when it comes to writing an ending, it's like they lose all of their writing ability. It's just like, at least give us a satisfying ending if we're gonna invest so much of our time watching this show on a weekly basis, or like binge watching for seasons and seasons on end. At least give us a good payoff at the end. Just be like, yeah, you know what, that was worth my time watching all that time. Yeah. So, people
There
like
was
writers in general need to think of better endings with a lot of things.
there was one show that I looked back and I said that might be one of the best endings I've ever seen, and it was so good. And then we will get to the night one and night two. It's a show that was on the USA Network, and it's called White Collar. It was a perfect ending to what they've done throughout all the seasons. And it made sense, and you're like, wow, that is like whoever came up with those ideas to end it like that, it was like so freaking perfect. Great,
Hmm.
great swerve at the end too. So I do appreciate that one show out of all the shows having a good ending for once. But okay, we got night one and night two to talk about, and then we'll talk about the Raw after WrestleMania after that. Um, Night one started off with Gunther defending against Jay Uso. I'll let you talk about it here, but my quick thoughts and just to recap what I thought about it, I think it was a average to decent match. It's not one of those that you're going to go back and watch for the match. It'll be for the moment. Um, but it was still like it still has solid moments. I think I'm still on the fence about Gunther tapping out, but I will reiterate people's like, oh my god, he tapped out so quickly. Dog, he just got 2 or 3 super kicks, 2 or 3 spears, a damn 3 Uso splashes back to back. It wasn't like it was, during breaks. And then he tapped out. I would rather seen him just pass out and they do it like that, but he tapped out. I mean, Jay went through hell during this story, so for the most part of just getting his ass beat, tripping, doing this. So I understand it, but I'm still not a fan of him tapping out. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I've pretty much got the same thoughts. Like it was a decent match, but nothing to write home about. It wasn't the best match of Gunther's career. It wasn't the best match of even Jay's career. Like it was. I don't even think it was the best match they've had together. I'd argue their Saturday Night main events match was arguably better. But it's close. Um, but yeah, like I just don't like Gunther tapping out the way he did. Like if you're gonna have him tap out, I mean, I understand like he went through a lot of offense, but like still, like he tapped out just a smidge too quick for me. Like just at least have him like try and fight out of it a bit first, and then tap out if you're gonna have him tap out like that, or just have him pass out. But if it was me, I would have had Jay just pin Gunter if you're gonna have him win. Like just pin him 1, 2, 3. I just think him tapping out is a bit. Like he's only tapped out once before, and that was against Ilya Dragunov, and in that match he tapped out quick too. Like Gunther tapped out pretty quick after Ilya got the submission hold on him. So I don't know if that's becoming a theme with Gunther. It's just like that's a weakness of his where he can't really withstand submissions as much as as like other people. I don't know if that's like they're trying to build that as like his weakness, but I don't know. Um, with that when against Ilya, I understood because that was an actual like war. Like they were like beating the hell out of each other. They were like there was I'm pretty sure they busted each other open at one point, or at least one of them was busted open, or like it was just they looked like they absolutely beat the hell out of each other. So I understood Gunter tapping out quick in that one, but Jay, yeah, I just feel like Jay should have just pinned him. I think. I got a positive about the match. It's better than his match at Mania last year. Jay, that is. Oh yeah, well, definitely. I mean, you couldn't get any worse. You couldn't get any worse than Jay vs Jimmy. You literally couldn't. So yeah, but yeah. The moment was good. I just don't like that the crowd only seemed to be awake for Jay, and that's it. The rest of the night they were just asleep. I mean, I understood like one being bad. That's why they were like the crowd was pretty bad themselves. But at least try and like bring the energy up a bit because they did it for the opening and they did it for the main event. But that's it. I just feel like Vegas as a whole, like throughout night one, night two, they were slightly better and they were very inconsistent during Raw after Mania. I just feel like as a whole, Las Vegas for what I was expecting them to be crowd wise massively underwhelmed and underdelivered.
I would say the Raw after Mania was the best crowd out of the Las Vegas crowd. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm, yeah,
Be- because for I don't think I even heard this is awesome chant during the main event of night one, which is wild. Night two, they were better than night one, like you said, but I would say the Raw after Mania, that was probably the best Las Vegas crowd, and it still was, a little downer. So, yeah, I don't, I didn't, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know if they did stuff in Las Vegas and they just forgot to chant or something, or they were just out of it. I don't know, but
but yeah. Oh yeah. Overall, like I just think the match between Jay and Gunther was decent. Jay won the belts. It's a good moment for him. For me personally though, I don't think he should hold the belt for a long time. Like I feel if anything, I probably would have Seth Rollins take the belt off him like a backlash or something. Like a backlash or maybe the pay per view after. I definitely wouldn't have Jay hold it all the way to SummerSlam or anything. And I just feel like Seth Rollins with the belt would be very interesting under Paul Heyman. So I would probably have Seth win the belt if it were me booking.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I don't think he's gonna lose it at Backlash, but um, I think he'll have a longer reign than that. But that how long I'm not sure yet. Not sure yet. War Raiders, New Day. Yeah,
Missed opportunity. Missed opportunity. I mean, New Day winning the belts. I'm not like too upset about because I do like the New Day, especially their heel run and all that, and they did cheat to win. I just missed opportunity to have Big E involved because it's not like Big E wasn't in the building. He was at the pre-show. He was literally doing the pre-show. He was on the fucking panel with everyone else. So it's not like he wasn't there. You could have easily had Big E come out and help out, either help out the New Day by turning heel or cost the New Day. Either or. I just feel like there was a huge missed opportunity for a big pop moment there to at least make it somewhat justifiable that the New Day and War Raiders was put on the card in the first place. Omos versus Rusev bucket.
I almost spit my water out. I'm mad. I took a sip, and I saw his comment. I almost spit my water out. Yeah, I still I don't understand this being on the card in the SmackDown division, just doing a TLC on a on a Raw SmackDown after Mania. It's still going to be a great match and a good moment for them, and I hope they give them a hell of a lot of time since they got fucking 3 hours. So I hope they give them a lot of time on Friday, because they really do deserve it. I mean, that's going to be their WrestleMania top match,
Yeah.
anyways. It
I mean,
that should have been on the card, and this shouldn't have been. But that's all I'm going to say.
yeah, I just feel like if you're gonna put that match on WrestleMania, you should have had Big E get involved or like have a big moment or return or whatever happen. Because for me, that was when I saw that was on the card. I was like, oh, I mean, people were saying like, oh, why is this on the card instead of anything on SmackDown? I just thought in my head like Big E. That's the only justifiable reason I can think of as to why they would put that on WrestleMania for the big return of Big E. But they didn't do that. So now I am after WrestleMania being like, why was this on the card? You could have literally had this happen on the Raw after WrestleMania and there would have been no difference.
Yep.
Like, have this happen on the Raw after WrestleMania, then have the big ladder match happen at WrestleMania, because that would have been overall better, like a better match, like more chaos, more tag teams highlighted on WrestleMania. It would have just been the better way to go about. I think the logic is title change equal should be on the card, but I still don't agree with the other one being on SmackDown. See, I don't agree with that. Like, I understand they want a lot of title changes to happen at WrestleMania because the big show and everything, but you don't necessarily have to have title changes happen at WrestleMania. I mean, there was a few retains. The women's titles, well, I think the women's titles were the only ones that didn't change hands. But you get my point. Like, you don't have to have title changes happen at WrestleMania. I feel like that's a stupid way of deciding what gets on a card. Like, I would have much rather have seen the SmackDown tag team titles highlighted on WrestleMania instead, with the many tag teams and a ladder match instead of just having War Raiders with New Day and have New Day cheat to win and in a mediocre match, and that's it. No Biggie return, nothing. So yeah, in my opinion, big missed opportunity here in that match.
Yeah, I agree, and I just think if you had the SmackDown tag team titles in the TLC on night one, I think night one overall just feels a whole lot better because
Yeah,
you
it would have
know
been
they're
a better
you
card.
know they're going to tear it down.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't even then have to be a good technical wrestling match. Like, it could just be a big chaotic like ladder match, like just full of chaos, and that would have been a nice like change of pace from everything we saw on that card. Because there was no stipulation match on night one. There was no stipulation match on night one. There was just normal matches. There wasn't that element of chaos apart from maybe the main event. So I just feel like if they put that TLC match on night one, it would have made night one feel better, in terms of the cards and the overall show itself. and it would have made WrestleMania as a whole feel a little bit better if they just switched those matches around. I would have had no problem with night one and night two each getting a men's tag title match. I wouldn't have had a problem with that either. It's just what match would you have swapped out for one of the tag team title matches? Maybe the women's tag team title match, but then you don't get the Becky Lynch return. Um, that's just something you got to think about. It's like which match would you swap out? Um, yeah. So, in my opinion, the SmackDown Tag Team Title match should have been on WrestleMania instead if you weren't going to have Big E return. That's just my take.
Yeah, just looking at it, I I don't know why they didn't just even out night one and night two with some of these matches. I just don't understand that. I really don't. Like you're telling me, say if the card stayed the same, but I'm switching out like the Raw tag team titles with the SmackDown. Say you
Mm.
put that DLC on the card. Say you add hell. Um, say you switch Ray Phoenix and Chad Gable. We're just gonna put it as that Chad Gable, and switch them out with I don't know. I mean, say Randy's on night one with against Joe and everything. I think night one gets a better perception just overall with just that added.
Yeah, because like the whole Joe Hendry return moment would have made night one just a little bit better than what it was, and then the funny moment of Randy RKOing Joe Hendry and all that, which we'll talk about later, that would have just made night one just a little bit better than what it was and not as bad. So I just feel like yeah they had night one at a disadvantage from the very start, because night two was obviously the better card, the better was going to be the better show. Like everyone knew us going in, but we didn't expect night one to be that bad. Yeah, the problem with night one is it just didn't feel fun. It dragged. Like it dragged. It genuinely did drag. Night two, it flew by, but night one, it dragged on. Like apart from the US title match and the main event, that was the only two matches that I really sat down and I was like, you know what, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that match.
Well,
Like Jade and Naomi wasn't that bad, but like it wasn't something I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that was a really good match. I enjoyed that. It was just kind of like it was what it was. It's that sort of thing. It was a decent match.
so that's the next match that was on the card. That's why I was about to say. I think for what it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was just in that middle for me as well. Somewhat. I mean, it had its good moments. I said this on my night one review, and I'm gonna stick by it. I don't like Jade as a baby face. I don't think it's gonna work. Um, just overall as a whole, she's a powerhouse, and Rhea is a powerhouse, but Rhea can work as a baby face or heel, and
Rhea just has more charisma than Jade, so like
and
Rhea is able to like come off as a face better than Jade. Like I think Jade, she's just kind of a bit one dimensional. Like she's a big powerhouse woman. She's threatening. She's like she's gonna kick people's asses, beat people up, and all that. I just feel like that sort of role can only really work if you're a heel. Um. So yeah, like I just don't think Jade has the charisma to be a babyface. I don't think she does.
she she,
Um.
she doesn't. And her mannerisms and stuff that when she's talking, she don't come off as a baby face that good either. I
Plus,
that, that
plus
that's
she's not that over.
that's just one fear I have with her going.
Yeah. Plus Jade is not that over. Like I feel like if you're gonna have her as a babyface, she needs to be a bit more popular with the crowd. So yeah, if it were me, I'd be turning her heel. If it were me, I'd be turning her heel soon enough. and then maybe building to her versus Bianca. Almost took out Tyler's Wi-Fi. Your screen is kind of like just being like stop start basically. Like you're almost moving in slow motion. Like
all y'all need to worry about. So that's I don't know if it is or not, but
yeah, you kind of being a little bit better now. Like you're actually moving like quite consistently now. So I think your Wi-Fi is getting back to normal now. But yeah, like if it were me, I'd be turning Jade heel and then maybe building to Jade vs Bianca in the far future. Um, but yeah, I just feel like Jade would be better to heel. Naomi did very well in this match. I feel Naomi is just very good in this heel role that she's doing. I do think she has a big future with that on the roster. But yeah, the match just was what it was. It was just an okay match with Jade getting the win, and just hopefully Naomi will push on with it after Mania and do something with it. Why Wi-Fi said a storm is coming. Yeah, as soon as we started talking about Jade, boom, Wi-Fi, Tyler's Wi-Fi started suffering. Yeah,
at their house and everything. Summer, which they're together and everything. Summer, Summer's, like looking at it, and I'm like, "Do you not get what they're doing?" And it took her a minute. I'm like, it instantly popped in my head. I'm like, "Oh, this is actually somewhat cool of what they're doing," even though
yeah.
it's
Yeah, it was a smart way of doing Jay's entrance with the whole "a storm is coming" kind of thing. Like the people I was watching Mania with at first didn't get either, and like they were just kind of like, "The hell?" And I was there just like, "Guys, do you not get it? Like it's Jade's entrance. A storm is coming. Weather forecast. Come on, guys, hurry up and pick up. Come on, wakey wakey, being a bit slow." Like, yeah, I got it instantly. I was just like, "Oh, that's actually a cool concept for an entrance. Fair play." So yeah, especially as like the storm was like slowly like coming in over like the arena, the way they had it and all that. I was just like, that's cool. So yeah, the entrance is cool. Yeah, the match was what it was. And yeah, there's not much more to say about that. Michael Cole, Samoa Joe bringing up the ponchos again. That Mania was crazy. The fact that like got delayed so long because of the weather, that and there was just Michael Cole's mojo with the ponchos. That was a legendary WrestleMania just for that alone.
yeah. Next up, we had LA Knight defending his United States Championship against Jacob Fatu. Um, you already talked about it, and I said it on mine. This was for me. This was easily the second best match of night one, besides the main event, of course. Um, and we've talked about it, and we've said it a lot. With their styles are different. How are they going to be in the ring? And hey, fair play to them, because to be honest, I did not think this was going to be. I didn't think I was going to come out and say, "Man, this was a very good match." I did not think I was going to say that, but I'm happy that it was.
Yeah,
Um,
I genuinely thought their styles wouldn't clash very well. Either that, or I didn't think they were going to have that long of a match. I thought Jacob there was a chance Jacob Fatu was just going to squash LA Knight. Like I had that in the back of my head. I was like, I would not be surprised if they just had Fatu just squash LA Knight, just to be like that monstrous big win at WrestleMania, get it done quick and all that. But no, they proved me dead wrong. It was the best match of the night apart from the main event. Um, that that reversal into the BFT was gorgeous. That was such a good counter and a good spot there, and he got me off my seat. I will say that. So, but yeah, great title win for Jacob Fatu. Great match. And just like we expected, Fatu is now the United States champion. And yeah, I'm excited to see what Tyler matches he's going to have with that reign, and the people he's going to be wrestling, and some good matches he's going to be having over the next like few months of holding it. So yeah, I do wonder if potentially Solo Sikoa is going to maybe get a bit jealous of Fatu, and I don't know. Solo is they're going to potentially build a Solo maybe turning on Fatu. I don't know, but that could be an avenue they could go down on. But yeah, happy for Fatu. He deserves it, and yeah, very good match.
I agree. I agree. I'm glad when I saw Solo behind him, I said, "Oh my God, please don't have Solo somehow cost Jacob," because I think I like LA Knight, but we know it was Jacob's time to be a champion because he's done so much work and everything.
I think Solo jealous is the way they're building his storyline and IRL at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if Solo Sokoa IRL is jealous of Fatu because, like, obviously after the Bloodline stuff, like Solo Sokoa was like trying to be built up as like the next big like guy in the family after Roman, and like being the successor and the next tribal chief and all that. And after Fatu's came in, all the attention is now on Fatu, and everyone's saying like Fatu should be that next guy, the next like big Samoan family like guy in the roster, like the next tribal chief if he does become the tribal chief in the future. But he doesn't even have to be the tribal chief; he can just be the big dominant guy on the roster. So yeah, I just feel like Solo Sokoa probably is a bit jealous of Fatu. At least I would be if I was Solo, because the attention should have been on him, not Fatu. But it's Fatu's taking the spotlight, deservedly so, because Fatu is so much better than Solo, so much better than Solo. At least Solo got the Raw Netflix premiere match, but man, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him a little bit too, but I feel like Solo could have also just done a bit better with the positions he was put in. Like for example, like he had that like program with John Cena, so it's not like they didn't try with him. It's not like they didn't try to get Solo over and Solo in a big position. He had a feud with John Cena. He had a feud with Roman Reigns. He had his opportunities. I just feel like Solo didn't do good enough with them, and maybe that's why the attention's now been put off him a little bit. But we'll see what happens for Solo in the future. But yeah, if it were me, I'm right with WWE, and I'm putting my attention on Jacob Fatu to be that next big guy.
Um, I mean, I agree with WWE doing this. I do think if you get like a say you try like a babyface or just a middle version of Solo that's not like all the way heel, I think he'd be better because he it seemed like to me he had to fight like a certain style and everything when trying to go after Roman, Cody and Cena. I think he had to fight in a certain way because people fight differently when they're like a bad guy or a good guy and everything. So, but yeah, Solo is a funny guy, so I could definitely see him being a babyface sometime in the future, like near future, because Solo is really honestly Solo is a very likable person to me. I don't know what it is, but I think he's a very likable person. So I could see him doing something, but I with him and Jacob, eventually they're going to have that battle and it's going to explode. But I think he needs to get away from that stuff. To be honest with you, because no one's going to cheer Solo during that.
No,
Jake,
I agree.
and there's going to be a point where you can't boo Jacob, and you're not going to see him as a bad guy either. Jacob is so damn good that they're going to the fans are going to force him to be a baby face or in the middle and not be like a bad guy. He might do bad guy stuff, but guess what? It ain't going to matter. Like the crowd ain't going to boo him. So, next up, Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, so first of all, I am happy that Tiffany Stratton retained. Thank God, because I really did come into WrestleMania really thinking that they were going to put the belt on Charlotte. Because I just thought they were like, because normally, like every time Charlotte has a title match at WrestleMania, she goes over and gets another title reign added to her long list of title reigns that are meaningless. So yeah, I really did think they were going to put the belt on Charlotte and like try and do the long chase again for Tiffany. But no, I'm glad they did put Tiffany over. But the match, just like their feud overall, underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming. Not just underwhelming, just very sloppy. Sloppy, messy. Their spots were all over the place. They looked like they just didn't want to be there and didn't want to wrestle each other. They just didn't have any chemistry at all. What was worse? This match I'm calling the Tiffany and Trish team Trishy time. Oh god. I forgot about that. They're both equally bad. They're both equally bad if we're being real.
Look. I didn't like them saying Trissy time or whatever the hell, but I can tell you right now, this was for me of how underwhelming this build and this match was. I ain't gonna lie to you. This match was my worst match of the entire weekend. I didn't like it at all, and I don't even give a damn if the other matches weren't better overall. The underwhelming part of all this was so bad that this is one of my probably the worst match for me because these two women are so that can be really so good in the ring, but they didn't give a damn of trying to work together to make a good match, which really disappointed me in more ways. I did my rant the other night, but this is the one of the worst matches for me.
See, I probably wouldn't say it was the worst match of the weekend because I can think of like a couple matches that were worse. It's just this was the most disappointing one. This was the one that should have delivered but didn't. So what like it's kind of like Jay and Jimmy last year, but at least with Charlotte and Tiffany, they did more than just super kicks. It's just they just didn't have any chemistry, and just like the spots they did were like really bad.
Do you just realize you just compared the match to Jay and Jimmy a little bit?
Yeah,
Okay, so my point is very valid when I say that. You just compare. I know you didn't compare it to all the way to the extent, but you literally just Tyler timeout. Oh my god, you just compared it to Jay and Jimmy to extent.
an extent, yeah.
That,
To uh,
that 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 is all you need to know about the match and the
to
building.
yeah, to an extent that like it had hype around it in terms of like it should have delivered to be a good match like Jay and Jimmy last year, but massively under delivered and massively underwhelmed. Um, for me, like I put like I probably say the worst matches of the weekend. Yeah, definitely Trish and Charlotte, and what other match did I think was really like underwhelming? Probably the tag team title match. Like New Day and War Raiders was just there. Like I
I think
really
now I'm gonna say this. I could care less about the match, but these two tag teams worked a whole lot better than what I saw with Tiffany in ring stuff. No one maybe didn't give a damn because
mm.
I didn't while watching it, but in ring they did a whole lot better than Tiffany and Charlotte did.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. Just overall, I just feel like their spots were just so like messy, and they just didn't work together with each other very well. Like it's either they didn't want to be there and they look like they didn't even want to work with each other, which is hilarious because Tiffany said that Charlotte was her dream WrestleMania opponent. You'd think if someone is your dream WrestleMania opponent, you think you would do better at working with them, but I think it's just maybe a case of they just didn't have chemistry. Like sometimes wrestlers are like that with certain opponents; they just don't have chemistry with a certain wrestler at all, and they just don't work well with each other. I think that's the case with Tiffany and Charlotte. Unfortunately, on paper they look like they would work very well together because they're both similar in styles, and they they just work very similar to each other in a lot of ways. So I thought like, oh, they're bound to work well with each other. No, they just didn't have chemistry at all. All their spots looked messy and sloppy, and they're like each spot, like how you expect a wrestling match to be very fluid in motion with certain spots and everything like that. It was just so clunky. Like every single time, like they either like counted something or caught a kick or like reversed something, it looked like they were moving in slow motion and they just didn't know what they were doing next. It was just like, what's going on here? So yeah, in my opinion, it got slightly better near the end. Like they cut off some of the sloppy stuff and actually did a few fluid spots in the last like 5 minutes. But for like 10, 15 minutes, it was, or however long the match was, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, it was very sloppy. And in the final 5 minutes, it was okay. But yeah, overall, it was a very, very sloppy match. And definitely Charlotte's worst ever WrestleMania match, that I will say, not even close. And probably the worst Tiffany match I've seen so far from her WWE career. And yeah, I just feel bad that Tiffany's big moment at WrestleMania is kind of overshadowed by how bad the match was. Because Tiffany deserves better than that. She deserves better than just to have to be remembered as, yeah, the person who beat Charlotte, but in a awful match. So, but hey, who knows? Maybe she'll get more WrestleMania like matches and moments in the future, which I'm pretty sure she will. And she'll definitely have better WrestleMania matches in the future. That's for certain. So yeah, that's. I miss Nia Jax. I don't. I don't. Although I do think Tiffany and Nia probably would have put on a better match than Tiffany and Charlotte. I will say that, and that's the closest thing to a compliment you will hear me say.
Hey, I'm glad you said that because guess what? I said the same thing while talking about this match on night one. I think we mentioned this. I said, we have that you already have a story with Tiffany and Nia. Why didn't you just drag it on? Because this match was complete trash. And I said this, and I'm gonna say it again. If Charlotte decided to retire, say today, the women's division would be just as good, and I could care less if she retired. And I know that sounds bad, but I I I I, I just don't think the division really needs her. It's just like Vince did it, and now Triple H is doing it. They don't know how to book. They don't know how to book her and Becky to extent without having some titles around them or something. And I just don't
Yeah,
understand that. You got as bad as we talk down about Charlotte, she is really good in ring. It was a very bad performance on Saturday, but she's really good in ring. Becky's the same way. Why can't y'all do stories without titles or something with them? I just
yeah, that's what I don't understand. Like going to Becky for a moment, and I'll talk more about Becky when we go on tonight too. But I saw a thing on Twitter where it was like posted that Becky's return took so long because they couldn't think of anything creative for her. But now you do with Lyra and oh Lord and Behold, it had the tag team titles involved, and now it's going to involve the Intercontinental Championship most likely. Like, can you not think of anything to do with Becky or Charlotte with no titles involved? Like, you do it with the men all the time. Like a lot of main event talent and like the biggest stars on the rosters have feuds that have no titles involved. Why can't you do that with a Charlotte, with a Becky? Like, why do they always have to have titles involved? And I'm not gonna lie, lately Rhea Ripley is starting to fall back into that category where Rhea has to be involved in the title, whatever she's doing. And it's just like I would love to see Rhea Ripley in a non-title feud or non-title program once in a while, instead of it just being about the women's championship, women's championship, women's championship, women's championship. On that topic, Rhea, please, please, please leave EO alone for 5 minutes. Yeah, like, I mean, in my opinion, Rhea should be the one to beat EO for the title eventually anyway, but have her stay away for a few months and maybe do it at Evolution 2, whenever that is. I think that's later on in the year, right? That's when I would personally do it, is like Evolution 2, do Rhea and EO one-on-one, where Rhea finally beats her. I'm so tired of this is my brutality every segment. Yeah, yeah, like it's just certain women they just can't book without a women's title involved. It's just like just think of something creative for them to do. Um, but yeah, I was watching EO and Stephanie face off. Jen scared the Rhea was gonna come out. That was fire, by the way. But we'll talk more about that when we get onto Raw after Mania. But yeah, I with Charlotte, I just not only do I want to see her like in some non-title feuds every now and then. That at the end she appears to just scare Julie and Roxanne. Um, but I just want to see Charlotte just change. Like, I want to see Charlotte change her character, change her gimmick, change everything. Because I just feel like she's done the same thing since she came up to the main roster. She's done the same thing for a decade. Just switch it up. Like, you think about the greatest of all time that has been here in this business. Like, you can list loads. They had to evolve over a period of time to keep themselves fresh and exciting and keep themselves at the top and keep themselves popular. Otherwise, they were going to go stale and old, and people were not going to care eventually, and all that. Charlotte needs to do that. Like, she can't just be Ric Flair's daughter throughout the entirety of her career. Sure, it gets the titles, but there's no originality with Charlotte. Like, there's no originality. Like, you don't see. I give a big example to Randy Orton. Do you think Randy Orton would be where he is now if he just copied Bob Orton his career?
Mm.
Like, if he just copied his dad his entire career, he would not be where he is now. He would not be one of the greatest of all time. Sometimes you just gotta break away from your family heritage and your ancestors and all that. Like, I think the same thing about Natalia. I think Natalia would have been a lot better if she just didn't copy the whole heart stuff. Like, sure, you can have the heart heritage behind you and the Flair heritage behind you, but just bring some uniqueness to your character. Like,
I will say one thing about Natty and everything. When she went on that, like, being like somewhat of a bitch and everything on SmackDown and Bloodsport, yes, I did like seeing that with
mm,
Bloodsport. When she if she could iterate some of that from Bloodsport and then that SmackDown run where she was just like she was really good for a few months doing that and everything. And like I was like, okay, like this is a different side of her. I wish they would allow her to do that because I think it's more of them not allowing her to do stuff like that. I think it's more the company. I don't think it's her not wanting to do it. So
mm,
that in some scenarios we gotta think maybe the company just don't want her to do it. And
mm.
it's like why not? Like let's be honest, she's still really good in the ring, but she's getting to where she probably don't have much longer. Like she's getting to that point for sure. So why not allow her to do stuff like that? That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah, like I just want to see Charlotte take a little bit of a hiatus, not too long, not like the last hiatus, but like just take a little bit of a break away for a few months, like until around maybe SummerSlam time or whatever. Come back a little bit prepackaged, not fully prepackaged, but like just a little bit prepackaged. Like just bring something different to your character, just a little something different, just to be like, oh, new Charlotte. Hello, this could be interesting. Like I would have her be a heel because she's a lot better as a heel, but just do something different with your gimmick. Do something different with your character besides just being Ric Flair's daughter and being a Flair. Like, yeah, I just feel like if she brought up a little bit more originality in her character, a lot of people would be more behind her and wouldn't mind seeing her like still near the title picture and all that. It's the case for like Becky Lynch. Like even Becky Lynch has changed a little bit over the years. Like she was the man, then she's big time Bex, and like things like that. Like, but even Becky's changed a little bit over the years when she was on top. Charlotte needs to do the same. Um,
I
yeah,
agree.
that's my whole take about Charlotte. I just want to see her go away for a little bit, change her character, come back, and then see what she can do with that.
Hey, I agree with that. Ray Phoenix versus Grand Americano, aka Chad Gable. I think
I
Cody.
think Cody's done what you said perfectly. Like he still pays tribute to his father, but is still his own character. Exactly. Like Cody Rhodes is a lot more than just Cody, and then just Dusty's son. Like, does Dusty get mentioned quite a bit? Sure, and he does get mentioned as being Dusty's son a lot, but that's kind of why I was kind of the whole purpose of his story, like doing what his father couldn't do and all that. But he's still his own character. Like take away the whole road stuff. The American Nightmare is his own creation. It's his gimmick. It's original. So that's what Charlotte needs to do. Like I know she's the queen and all that, but come on, that's barely a gimmick. Like she's not an actual queen, is she? Like she doesn't wear a crown around. She wears a robe just like her father. She does the flare strut chops. She does woos. Like she's literally just Ric Flair 2.0, just with far less charisma. That's what I've always called Charlotte. She's she's Ric Flair 2.0, just she's a charisma vacuum. That's literally it. Charlotte Flair gonna come out in face paint looking for the cosmic key soon. Stardust. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no. See, I want to see Charlotte change her character, but not like that. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Um. But yeah, like you put up a good point there, Yusuf, about Cody. Like Cody's a prime example. Like be original with your character. You can still pay tribute to your family roots and your heritage and all that. You can still pay tribute to that, but come up with something original and break away from your family stuff. Like so you have a little bit of originality about you. Cody did it. Dustin did it with Gold Dust and Dustin in general. Like Dustin's not the same as Dusty. So yeah. I just feel like people who have famous families needs to break away from their family's gimmicks in order to look original and stand out. That's just me personally.
I agree. Ray Phoenix versus Grand Americano and everything. This was actually before the Tiffany and Charlotte. I just didn't talk about it beforehand. Really not much to say about this overall. I mean, it was decent. I thought it would have been a little bit better. That's all I will say. But
Mhm.
it's not like one of those that I'm going to complain about and everything like Tiffany and
Yeah,
Charlotte.
I
It's
mean,
just a match on the card. It's not a title match or anything like that.
yeah, I mean, I think Ray Phoenix did very well for his first WrestleMania and it being such short notice and all that. Like for him having his first WrestleMania in such short notice and coming out there and having a good match with El Grande Americano, I do feel like that was a decent performance from Ray Phoenix, so I can't really complain too much. It was last minute as well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. I didn't think it was amazing. I don't think it was like really great, but it was pretty good. I think that one spot from El Grande Americano, the like 540 that he did like from the top rope into like a senton or whatever, that was a really good move, and I didn't think Chad Gable was fucking capable of that shit. So fair play to Chad, but yeah, it was a good match. I just didn't expect El Grande Americano to win. I really thought Ray Phoenix was going to win and then demask him. It just makes me wonder, would El Grande Americano have beaten Rey Mysterio if Ray was wrestling, or would they have just put Ray over and they just kind of delayed the demasking for a little bit longer? That's just what I'm thinking. So I don't know. El Grande showing up in AAA will gotta go crazy. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Um, but yeah, no, like it's not much to talk about when it comes to this match. I just expected El Grande Americano to lose and be demasked on night one, but they didn't. It didn't happen, and looks like they're going to go a bit longer with it. So I do want to see him unmasked soon and revealed as Chad Gable, so Chad can actually be pushed as Chad Gable. I That's just what I would like to see happen.
I agree. I agree as well. All right, the main event we had Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. So I'll let you go off with that and your thoughts of the triple threat, everything that happened, and of course the ending.
In- Incredible main event. Like I would even go as far as to say this is one of the best triple threat matches in WWE history.
Hmm.
I'd go that far as to go like that. I think it is genuinely one of the best triple threat matches in WrestleMania history. It was uh, it was an incredible triple threat. Even taking away the Paul Heyman stuff, like when you just boil it down to the actual match itself and the spots and yeah, just the overall match itself, it was really good. Like I can already think of a couple spots like already. Like I loved Rollins trying to get Roman Reigns on his side to take out CM Punk and trying to like shield bomb him through the announce table, and they kind of teased it for a little bit, and then Roman Reigns was like, "Ah, fuck you," boom, took out Seth, and then just powerbombed Punk through the table himself. I really like that from Roman. That was a cool spot. That spot near the end where they just traded finishes to each other was pretty cool. It's like it was a 2K game. Because it was like it was a GTS. Then Roman speared Punk, and then Seth curb stomped Roman, and he's gone for the cover on Punk. I just thought, damn, that was a cool spot. So yeah, like it was fantastic match, and yeah, of course the Paul Heyman spots. Yes, were predictable. Like it was pretty predictable, especially for me. I called it from a mile away on the podcast before, and a lot of people saw it coming that he was going to turn on both of them, and it does make sense. But predictable doesn't mean bad. Like it was very very good, and like as I was watching it as well, I as soon as he low blow Punk, I was like, okay, yep, turned on Punk. Yep, that's number one. And then as soon as I saw that Heyman was like pointing at Seth for Roman to be like, he's yours, my tribal chief, he's yours. I was literally there with my friends watching it live. And I was like, he's leading him on here as soon as he goes over to try and attack Seth. Boom. And yep, exactly what happened. So yeah, incredible twist, and yeah, I loved it. I Seeing Seth Rollins as the Paul Heyman guy is very cool and interesting. What I will say, Paul Heyman did some fantastic acting during that entire thing. From like looking like he was caring so much about Punk and being like so like yeah, just being so caring like a friend to then turning on him and then acting like really upset about it. Like he was pretty much fucking almost crying that he had to take out Punk and being like, "You made me choose." And then going over to Roman, like acting like his um advisor again. To then taking out Roman and then just had the most sadistic look on his face and just looked like a man who's just out for vengeance. Paul Heyman, just the way he can change his like facial reactions on a dime is just unmatched. On the topic of Rollins and Heyman, I saw the hooded dude come out on Raw and thought it was Solo Sokoa PTSD. Yeah, I get you. Um, but yeah, I really can't wait to see where they go with this, especially after Raw after WrestleMania and the things we saw about that. More on that later. Um, but yeah, I love Rollins and Heyman together. I feel like that's a really good avenue to go down. Paul Heyman regained his aura in a second with that low blow to Reigns. Yep, yep. Um, yeah, I'm just wondering where now they're going to go with this. Who's going to join them in this like, maybe mini faction they're going to build with Rollins? Now that we know we got Braun Breaker, who's now joined in with Rollins and Heyman. I have a prediction for who I think is going to be joining in. In fact, two people who I think is going to be joining in with that. I will speak more about that later. Um, but yeah, I can't wait to see where they go with this. Omos, the Paul Heyman guy. No, it's not Omos. It's not
I
Omos.
knew, I knew, I knew, I knew he was about to say almost for some stupid reason. I knew he was going to say it.
Of course, just got to say Omos. Of course, he was. Um, but yeah, like fantastic main event. That main event saved night one. Like if it wasn't for that, night one would have been a disaster if it wasn't for that main event. And you know what's tragic? If they'd have just swapped out the main events, if the main event would have been on night two and Cena and Rhodes would have been night two would have been like untouchable, incredible. It would have been like almost flawless if they'd have just swapped the main events. But obviously, they weren't going to have the triple threat main event night two because it was Cena going for number 17. They were always going to have that be the last main event of the weekend. I
Yeah.
miss my Tribal Chief. What can I say? So yeah, I have nothing more to say on that until Raw. So yeah, but honestly, yeah, that's gonna be in my top 5 matches of the year come the end of the year for sure. Probably my top 3. It's going to be close.
I, I'm not going to put it anywhere. I know it'll be in my top 10 for sure because it was so good. But I don't want to say top five or whatnot because we don't know what we're getting for the rest of the year.
True. I just don't see how many more matches can possibly top that because it was that fucking good. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Well, personally, and of course, I'll probably watch it back. But WrestleMania Night 2 started off with Io Sky defending against Rhea and Bianca. To me, when I watched both of these matches, I love both of them, but I think the women match wise was better. I know that's crazy to say, but I think the women tore it down. And
I
normally this is weird because normally you would be on the other side of the spectrum probably doing that and I'd be for the men because we've done that in the past. But
true.
I think the women tore it down more than the men because and I'll say it for this reason. They didn't have to go outside of the ring that much. And I appreciate.
True, true. I do think from an in ring perspective, the women's probably was like maybe a little bit better. Um, I don't know. I enjoyed both triple threat matches equally for different reasons. That I will say. In terms of like an overall match, I loved both of them equally. I think I do slightly prefer the men's a little bit more, but I love the women's as well. Like the both triple threat matches were uh, the first best match and the second best match of the weekend. Just
Yeah.
outright, like they were the best matches of the weekend. It was the WrestleMania triple threat matches for what matches stole the weekend. Um, I'm extremely happy that they did the right thing and what made sense, and they had Io retain because I was so scared that they were going to take the title off Io and they were going to put it on like Bianca or something because she had that WrestleMania streak. I was so scared they were going to put it on Bianca. And something I was very shocked about, Bianca was booed out of the building at WrestleMania. Like she
Well,
was booed.
I'll say this about her. Bianca is very likable, but I think people have seen that babyface Bianca for forever, and I think people are ready to see her quote quote bitchy side come out because she did it in NXT and she was very good as a bad person. So I think a lot of people are ready to see that. So
Mm. Gotta go now, but she'll catch up with the rest of us later. All right, take care, Yusuf. Thank you for tuning in.
So I think people are ready to see that side. But yeah, these women tore it down, and I'm glad they did go with EO retaining. Very, very good stuff with all these women involved.
Do you know what? Do you know what's ironic? Io won the well, retained the women's title at WrestleMania the same exact way she won the NXT Women's Championship in a triple threat match that also had Rhea involved. It was Io, Rhea, and Charlotte from, I think, In Your House, if I remember correctly, years back. Io won it the same exact way. I think it was Charlotte had the figure eight on Rhea, and then Io hit the moonsault while that was going on, and then pinned Rhea. But this time it was Bianca pinning Rhea for a little bit, then Io moonsaulted onto Bianca and then pinned Bianca. So I loved how that happened. In fact, I called this out as soon as the fatal four way happened, but Io and Dominic won their matches in the same exact way. Finn Balor was pinning Braun, and then Frog Splash Finn and got the win there. So they won their matches identical ways, which I found quite funny. But yeah, I'm so happy Io won. She deserved this WrestleMania moment after she lost against Bayley last year. I just felt like it was finally her time to have her moment at WrestleMania and have her WrestleMania moment and all that. I feel like no one's deserved this more than Io.
I agree.
I would have maybe gone differently on the build up to this, and I wouldn't have Io win the belt before Mania, and I would have had her just win the belt at Mania, and have Rhea still as the champion going into this triple threat match. But either way, Io still got her big moment, which I'm very happy with, and yeah, I'm excited to see what else she does in her reign. But yeah, this was a quality women's title match, and probably one of my favorite women's matches in WrestleMania of recent times. Anyway,
Do you think this is better than Rhea and Charlotte from 39? Because Rhea and Charlotte was really good.
Rhea Charlotte was so good. I would have to watch both of the matches like one after another to make a decision on that one, but it's close. I do put this triple threat match up with the likes of Rhea and Charlotte and Bianca and Sasha and Bianca and Becky and Charlotte and Asuka from years ago. Like I put this match up there with those ones. I will say.
Yeah, I agree. The next match was Drew and Damian in a Sin City street fight. I really enjoyed this. We talked about it earlier. Night two went 3 for 3 with the first three matches. Um, with just how good they were. Like it was a great start to just build for night two and everything like that. Um, I'm and they got the right winner. I'm not mad with some of these outcomes. I think the outcomes make sense for most of these matches, but yeah, this fight was pretty nice, and it was a funny moment seeing Drew get a phone and then tweet again. That was funny, and I'm thinking, damn, I hope Drew don't lose after doing that now. But I was like, it makes sense for Drew to get his payback from last year of getting cashed in by Damien.
Yeah, I agree. This match was very, very good. I loved this match. I loved the brutality of it. And yeah, I just thought this match was exactly how I expected it to be. And may I say, those two entrances, especially Priest's, like McIntyre's entrance was really good. I loved his attire. I loved the statue in his entrance and all that. I loved all that. But Priest having Slayer play into the ring, fucking lit. That was so cool. Just seeing Slayer at WrestleMania was unreal. It was kind of like when Motionless in White played Rhea to the ring when she faced Charlotte. So yeah, no, that was really cool. I really loved that, and yeah, the match was great. The Drew McIntyre tweet moment. I was watching WrestleMania with my friends at his house, and as soon as that happened, as soon as I saw him grab the phone and tweet, I literally had flashbacks to last year. I was like, no, he's not. And literally, I grabbed my phone instantly as soon as he grabbed his, and I was like, Drew McIntyre, and then I went onto his profile and I literally saw it like pop up immediately. Like it said like 10 seconds ago, and then there was the Drew McIntyre tweet, and I just cackled, and I just showed all my friends. It's like, you fucking did it again. So, but yeah, it's so suitable that Drew McIntyre has won Social Media of the Year for 2 years running. With stuff like that, you can't deny why he's been the social media king in WWE the last couple of years. But yeah, no, it was great, and yeah, they picked the right winner with Drew because Drew had to get his revenge for the cash in last WrestleMania. So
Mm-hmm.
they picked the right winner. Great match. The finish was brutal. That Claymore into Priest when his head was against the chair, that looked devastating. So like, yeah, that was a good like finish to the match. Yeah, very good match. Apart from the triple threat matches, that was probably my favorite match singles wise. That was really good.
I agree. I agree. Fatal four way: Braun Breaker, Penta, Finn Balor, and Dirty Dom Mysterio Intercontinental Championship match. Fatal four way. I really enjoyed this one as well. Um, I don't know what it is. I think, and for I mean, there's been times I'm like, okay, he's worked for his wins, but it felt like Dom really worked for this win more than I've seen in a while, and it just seemed different. It just this win actually seemed different and actually seemed authentic or something. I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it's because I guess just Dominic had to work his way up for years and kind of prove himself to be why he's good enough to have a singles title or win a singles title and just be that big heel on a roster. I just feel like he's really proved himself with the body of work he's done over the last few years and the heel work, and he was getting booed all the time. In fact, he got so over. He was booed by the crowd for a long time because people love to boo him, but he's actually so over with the crowd. Like you could see when he won the title, he got arguably the biggest pop of the night when he won the IC title. People love Dom, even though like some people may boo him because they love to boo him. People love Dom. Like he's incredibly popular with the crowd, so he more than deserves this. And what I find ironic and pretty funny, the last three manias, Rhea at 39 got her WrestleMania moment, Priest at 40 got his WrestleMania moment, and now Dom's got his at 41. Now where's my boy Finn gonna get his?
No, no, no. You know what? You said it. You said it on the last podcast. Finn Balor is the ultimate loser.
Yeah, like come on, when's Finn gonna get his moment, man? Come on, next Mania, WrestleMania 42, he's going to win a world title. I fucking hope.
I don't know.
Or
I don't know about that, but I will say this. I do hope they don't really prolong this face turn for Finn because you know what's happening. I don't want it to. I don't want them to prolong it much longer. I
Bro,
really.
I mean, from the looks of it, from what I saw on Raw and their interactions and all that, it may go the other way, and it may be Dominic turning face, and it may be Finn like just turning on Dom and beating him up, and just still being a heel, and Dom being the baby face. That
Yeah,
could be the avenue to go.
yeah, but what do they do with the Judgment Day? Like, it's not going to go away yet.
True. Yeah, I do think Finn Balor being the one to turn face would make more sense. Um, but yeah, like you said, I wouldn't prolong this too long because I mean, if it were me, I would literally have done this like at WrestleMania, like after Dom won the match. I would have either had Finn go in there and beat his ass up, or I would have had just Dom with the rest of the Judgment Day after Dom won the match, beat up Finn Balor and like kick him out of the Judgment Day or something like that. Like I would have just done that instead, not prolong this on a little bit longer. I just feel like they're just gonna prolong it too long, but we'll see. But I am happy for Dominic. Not gonna lie, when you were saying last night, because I noticed you were putting stuff in there about like Penta winning the IC title, I was just like, not yet. Like, I want to see Dom have a reign with it, like at least a little bit longer. I do want to see Penta with the IC title at some point though, because I feel like Penta with the IC title would be really cool. But yeah, probably not for at least later this year or early next year. Is probably what I would say for Penta winning the IC title. Is what I would say.
I don't know who's going to win it from Dom, but I could see it being SummerSlam where he loses it and everything. So
I could see it either being Finn, if because if they're going to turn Finn face, they might like have Finn win the title eventually off Dom, um, or they might even just do Penta like in the future, takes it off Dom. Who knows? But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with Dominic as the IC champion. So yeah, that a very good match as well. Very good fatal four way.
Randy Orton's open challenge, and someone must have said his name because Joe Hendry appeared and everything.
You know
Um,
what? I've got the funniest story for this one, right? I've got the funniest story. Um, I was, like I said, I was at my friend's house watching this. It was me, and basically this flat of friends that I know who live together and love wrestling. And I'm friends with all of them. So I was over there watching Mania with all of them. There was one particular one of them that was before this. Like I was predicting it was going to be either Nick Aldis or Rusev, and that was pretty much the common consensus among like all of us. Except there's one guy who was insisting it was going to be Joe Hendry. Insisting it was going to be Joe Hendry, and all of us would like just playing it down, being like, "It's not going to be Joe Hendry. It's no chance it's going to be Joe Hendry." And as soon as the thing fucking opened up and it and we heard the say his name and he appears, we all lost our minds. I like he was my friend who said it was gonna be Joe Hendry was just going crazy, and then I literally stood up from my chair and I was like, I was in shock. I genuinely could not believe they actually had Joe Hendry appear at WrestleMania. I never would have expected that from a mile away. And just seeing the TNA World Championship at WrestleMania was such a cool sight. And I think this was actually a genius move from Triple H because it gave Randy Orton an opponent that he could still beat, but like put over someone in a big way. Because if it was Aleister Black or Rusev, you arguably would have had to had Randy lose. Because it's kind of hard to bring someone back like after a long time away and have them lose their first match like that. But with Joe Hendry, no matter what, if he's winning or losing that match, he got an appearance at Wrestle fucking Mania. That's huge for him. That's huge for TNA. Put them over huge, and it still gives Randy the opportunity to win his match. So yeah, it was, and it gave a huge pop, huge moment, and a funny moment near the end. It was great. Like I personally think it was genius from Triple H to have Joe Hendry be the one to answer that challenge. And yeah, I love to see the huge pop that Joe Hendry got from like everyone. That was cool to see. Um, and that RKO spot, I fucking died laughing as soon as he did the spin around thing, and he just got RKO'd straight away. It was brilliant because it made sense because against Randy Orton, you have to have your attention on Randy at all times because of his experience and all that. So Joe Hendry got distracted with the moment and the spotlight and the crowd and all that. He had to do his moment thing. Got distracted from Randy, and Randy made him pay with his experience and RKO'd him. It made sense why that happened. So, yeah, like some people would say, "Oh, that match was too short." It didn't need to be long. Like it it didn't need to be. It didn't need to be like a 15-20 minute match. It only needed to be 5 to 10 minutes of just doing their thing, and that's it. Like that's all they needed to be. So yeah, I have no complaints about this. This was one of the funniest moments of the entire weekend for me. So yeah. Loved it. And what Randy did after the match with RKO him again and then doing Joe Hendry's thing and then doing that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good. Welcome to the stream. Greetings from Florida. Okay, what part of Florida? Yeah, I like that because Joe Joe was on Busted Open, um, and they were asking him why WWE's buying TNA. I think I don't think they will be.
I don't
I,
think buying TNA. Like, obviously they got the partnership going on, but I don't think they'll buy TNA. No, I don't think so.
but he was say someone asked him, well, why? What would you say to those people that say it should have been longer? He said, I think if it was longer, it wouldn't have made much sense, and it wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah,
He said it was just perfect with how it was.
yeah, I agree. Like, it didn't need to be a long match. Like, it just made sense that Joe Hendry would have been like so caught in the moment of like the spotlights and the event and the occasion and everything that he just got distracted from Randy and Randy made him pay with his experience. It just made sense. It wouldn't have made sense if Joe Hendry would have just got in there and had a very competitive match for 20 minutes against Randy Orton. So yeah, no, I feel like that match was perfect for what it needed to be.
I do agree. Next up, we had Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I only thing about this, it was good for what it was. It wasn't bad in all means, but I think I expected more out of it, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. I expected more from this match. Like, it wasn't a bad match by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't great. It wasn't Logan's best match in WrestleMania. It wasn't AJ's best match at WrestleMania. It was just kind of what it was. In fact, the best part of the match was the finish because I loved Karrion Cross being out there and basically was just telling AJ to do the right thing. Well, to do the right thing, you have to do the wrong thing, like he did like he said on the podcast, which was, by the way, what a promo from Karrion Cross. That is by far the best thing Karrion Cross has done throughout his entire WWE career, NXT included. NXT and main roster, that's the best thing he's done his entire like WWE run. That was he went off. But yeah, before I continue on with that, back to the match. Yeah, I really did find it interesting how he was out there and he was just basically just begging AJ to do what it takes to beat Logan. It was like, please, AJ, put this on, and hit Logan with it and finish the job. And AJ just like Cody tried to do the right thing and fucking lost because of it. Triple H just loves to punish good guys for being good guys. I don't know what it is. Just if you're a good guy, you lose. If you try to do the right thing, you lose. It's apparently according to Triple H. But yeah, no, I just don't think Logan needed the win. I just feel like AJ should have just won because why did Logan need to beat AJ? For what reason? Logan's going to be gone for a few months, and then he's going to be back around SummerSlam time to do another match. And I just don't see why Logan needed to win. Like if it were me, I would have had AJ win, and then I would have had Karrion Cross attack AJ after the match, or something like that. If you're going to have something with Karrion Cross involved, or I don't know, just something along those lines. I just feel like they just gave Logan an unnecessary win and just AJ returned like a few months ago at the Royal Rumble. I just feel like any momentum he got from that return is now just kind of just dead in his tracks. So yeah, I would not have had Logan win. I would have had AJ win if it were me booking, but it was an okay match. It was nothing great. So yeah, it was what it was.
Yeah, I would have had AJ win as well, but I'm not. I guess that this is one of those matches I'm not really mad that he didn't win that much. I don't because I still think AJ is still AJ, even though that momentum has cooled down a little bit. I think AJ still can get that momentum back up eventually. I think. I just have because AJ's so good, but yeah. I mean, I don't know if Logan will be gone for a few months because he does. It does seem like that he wants to do more and more now. So that's the vibe I've been getting a little bit. But maybe he does take a month or two off. But I don't know. I think the attraction of seeing Logan is a lot better if we see him every like once every month or two. But but I mean we'll see we'll see. Um, women's tag team titles. I'm gonna just say this from what happened with the Raw after Mania, and we haven't gotten there. This was very stupid of getting the titles off of them.
Agreed. Like I was okay with it at the time, but that's purely because I thought they were going to have Becky and Lyra hold on to it for a little bit longer before doing the heel turn. Um, but after Raw after WrestleMania and they already lost the titles and Becky's already turned heel, I'm just here like, why didn't you just do that at Mania? Like, is it just because they didn't want Becky to lose her return match at Mania? But if that's the case, that's such a stupid reason. Like, just don't have Becky take the pin. Like, just do what you did at Raw. Like, let them lose the match at Mania and then have Becky turn heel on Lyra after the match at WrestleMania. It would have been a lot more of a bigger moment, the heel turn itself, if it was executed at WrestleMania. Like, I would have understood it if they waited until like Backlash or the month after or near SummerSlam to do the heel turn. I would have understood a lot more then if they just did it at Mania for it to do it a few months later. But to do it the day after, like you may as well have just done it at WrestleMania. Like,
Uh,
what was the point of taking the titles off Liv and Raquel just to put them back on them a day later? I never understand that.
yeah, I don't understand that as well. And then don't get me wrong, I love Pat McAfee, but sometimes like on the Raw after Mania, after Raquel and Liv won, he's like, "Oh, Becky and Lyra were good tag team champions." They had them for one damn day. What are you talking about, Pat? Yeah, it might have been for one day, but they were good champions. What? You're not a good champion with a 1 day reign. You're not.
See, I am seeing more of this about Pat McAfee. It's just like Pat McAfee is good for his funny moments every now and then, like on commentary, but I see more and more people getting sick of Pat McAfee now. Like I remember like a few months ago or like a year ago, wherever, like everyone was saying like Pat McAfee's great. He brings the funny side out of Michael Cole. He has a good chemistry with Michael Cole. He does bring something different on the commentary table. But now I'm seeing a lot more fans on Twitter and just fans in general starting to get sick and tired of Pat McAfee now and starting to think he's starting to get more annoying than anything, which I do understand that. I do feel like sometimes he goes a little bit over the top for certain things, and sometimes he just says shit for the sake of saying it without actually thinking about what he's saying. Um, so yeah, and what I just found funny is like Gunter choking out Pat McAfee on Raw, and I legit all my timeline was thank you Gunther, thank you Gunther, thank God Gunther did that, or it's like everyone just celebrating Gunter choking out Pat McAfee. I was just like, my God, people actually hate McAfee that much now? Criminy. Um,
It's crazy. But yeah, this match was okay for what it was, and there's not much to talk about for this
I
match.
just feel bad for Bailey, mostly. Like I understand why they did it to bring Becky back, but I really do feel bad for Bailey, because like it must suck for anyone to be pulled from a WrestleMania match just for the sake of putting someone else there as like a return or just anyone. It would really suck. So I do feel bad for Bailey, and I hope they kind of make it up to her in some shape or form. Um, but yeah, like I just feel like Bailey was done dirty there. Like I understand why they did it, but if you were going to do it that way, then maybe like if they did it in the way of Becky attacked Bailey to get into the match, then I can probably forgive it a bit more because then at least they can integrate that as a storyline. Because I feel like that's the way they should go about it. Is that Becky was revealed to have attacked Bailey before that whole thing happened to get into the match, and then turned heel on Lyra. I don't trust the Twitter wrestling space. I mean, Twitter's just Twitter. Like fans, it depends on the fans you follow. It depends on the like people you see on Twitter. Like some people are fine. Some people are genuine with their criticism and fair with their criticism. And some people are just, you know, the, it's like that with any fan base on social media or anything like that. Some are just like either go too far with it or you know some are idiots who don't know what they're saying sometimes. So it's about finding the right balance. Luckily for me, I tend to follow the right people with wrestling fans on Twitter. So most of the times I see people who are actually being fair with their criticism and things that they're saying. So yeah. But yeah, I hope Becky is revealed to have attacked Bailey, and that's why Bailey wasn't in this match. I probably would forgive that a little bit more. Then I still feel Bailey was done a bit dirty though by Triple H.
And I'm thinking about it. I might have to just make the drive to St. Louis because I'm thinking, with what we've gotten on the Raw after Mania, which we will get, the two matches that already seem in mind, I'm thinking it's going to be a good card no matter what. So, but okay, the main event. Um,
Oh boy.
Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against John Cena. Um, I'm gonna just quickly say this, and then I'll let you just go. Um, Match wise, I'm not mad about the match itself, just the match. I didn't expect a damn 5-star classic from John Cena that hasn't done like a great match in a long time. The match itself was fine with me. I wasn't mad with really the match itself. I think they actually worked semi good. I mean, for what it was. Um, but of course, the big part to me is Code, and I said this Sunday night after the show on my stream. They made Cody Rhodes look like a bitch. And I hate to say that because Cody doesn't deserve that. He basically lost to a damn rapper, in my opinion. That's what it made him look like, and that's all I'll say. I'll let you say your piece.
Okay, so like you said, the match itself, I had no problem with. I think the match itself, taking away all the stuff that happened at the end, it was a good match. It wasn't a great match. It wasn't a fantastic. It wasn't a 5-star classic. Like, no one was expecting any of that anyway. Because, like you said, Cena hasn't provided a 5-star match or a amazing match for a long time now. I can't even remember the last time he had uh, an amazing match. The best match I can remember him having for a while is the matches that he had against AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those are the last ones that I remember being fantastic. But he may have had another great match after that sometime, but I genuinely don't remember. So yeah, I wasn't expecting like an amazing match or anything. But so the match itself, I had no problem with. But God, if you had to come up with the worst way to end a 1-year title reign, they found it. I just compare it to last year, and it's like you had Cody Rhodes overcome fucking Roman, Jimmy, fucking The Rock. You know, you had him overcome all odds there, and yet you couldn't have him overcome Travis fucking Scott. Like, again, like if The Rock was involved, then that'd have been a little bit more understandable. But like Travis Scott being the integral part of a 1 year title reign ending should never happen. Ever. And not just Travis Scott, any like influencer or any mainstream artist or anything like that. None of those types of people, yes, they have a place in wrestling, in my opinion. Like I'm not one of those people saying they have no place in wrestling. They do. Um The Rock just said on the Pat McAfee show it was never the plan for him to be there, and he did not know Travis Scott was going to be there. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think that's The Rock trying to deflect and trying to crowd control and trying to like calm things down a bit. I don't personally believe that because I think the plan always was originally that The Rock was going to be there with Travis Scott, or at least just have The Rock be there. Because I'm sorry, if you because The Rock, the original plan, from what I've heard, before The Rock got himself involved in the storyline, was Cena was going to win the Elimination Chamber, but not turn heel yet. And they were going to wait until WrestleMania to have Cena turn heel and then win the belt, like, and
I
turn heel at WrestleMania.
I think that would have been. I think that would have been the most the way they ended Elimination Chamber or something like that. That's what should have happened at WrestleMania.
Exactly. Like, so that's what I heard was going to be the plan before The Rock got himself involved, but they had to do the heel turn earlier at Elimination Chamber because The Rock wanted to be involved in the storyline. But the biggest problem with that, and this is the biggest criticism I have about The Rock, and I have no problem with The Rock when he gets himself involved because he can elevate storylines. Last year, WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes winning the belt would not have felt as big of a moment as it did without The Rock being there, without The Rock being involved. The Rock elevated WrestleMania and the build up last year. So I have no problem with The Rock when he's there. But when The Rock is not there, if he interjects himself into a storyline, he has to see it through. Otherwise, it's it just screws up everything. I personally would have preferred Cody turn heel, but I could be wrong. No, no, Cody can't turn heel. I don't think that would have made sense, me personally. Uh, but yeah, no, my whole thing with The Rock is the fact he's so half out, half in. Like I hate that. Like if you're going to start a storyline, commit to it. Commit to the storyline. See it through. Have have us have the payoff. Like if you can't be there for WrestleMania, for the integral moment of seeing the person that sold his soul out for you, and you can't be there to see him win the title or help him win the title, what was the point? What was the point of having Cena sell his soul to The Rock? What was the point of him doing that if The Rock was not going to be there at WrestleMania when everything was supposed to happen? And that's when Cena was going to win the belt. You could have had The Rock helped him out. You could have done so many things. Instead, you just had Travis Scott be out there and have Travis Scott be the catalyst to John Cena breaking the all-time record for the most world titles. Think about that for a moment. Breaking a, a record like that is supposed to be like one of the biggest moments in WWE company history, right? So the fact that the arguably the biggest moment in company history for Cena to break a record like that, 17 world titles, and you have the reason for that being Travis Scott. I'm sorry, that just doesn't sit well with me. It does not sit well with me at all. That's why this finish to WrestleMania was so bad. And like you said, it made Cody look like a bitch. It made Cody look so bad because like the title thing, like how they were fighting over the title, and then Cody didn't want to hit Cena with the belt and threw it away because he wanted to be a good guy. That I'm not mad with. That I'm not mad with at all. Like that's fine because they kind of mentioned something like that during the build up and the promos when Cena said There's going to come a time where you're going to have a choice. Either do what's right or win. Cody chose to do what's right instead of winning. That's why they did what they did with the whole title incident thing. Cody chose to do what's right. Cena chose to win. That's why Cena won. That I have no problem with because that made sense with the storyline. It's the fact that it was only Travis Scott that got involved. That's what I have a problem with. If they just had The Rock there, or even Seth, even if it was just Seth Rollins, it would have been a whole lot better. Just have Cody hit Cena with the crossroads, go to pin Cena, but then you see Seth Rollins come across the screen out of nowhere and curb stomp Cody, and then have Cena win that way. That would have been so much better, because at least then it's not just Travis Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't understand how Triple H or people who were booking this when they were thinking about how to end WrestleMania. I don't know how they thought Travis Scott helping John Cena win his 17th World Championship was ever going to be a good idea. And it was just so anticlimactic as well. When the 3 count happened, me and my friends looked at each other like, that's it? That was it? Literally, when the referee was counting the 3 count, me and my friends were fully expecting Cody to kick out because we were expecting more to happen. We thought Travis Scott arriving was only the first thing of a few things that was going to happen. Because we thought, okay, Cody's going to kick out of that belt shot from Cena, and then The Rock's going to come out or something like that. And then Stone Cold will come out. And the thing is, it's not like they didn't have an opportunity to try and do something like that. Stone Cold was in the building. Stone Cold literally came out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Quiet.
We know he was in the building, all right, but he wasn't there all the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Clearly, with the fucking driving.
Bro, did you see he missed the damn ramp?
Yeah, you fucking pretty much ran over someone in the front row, pretty much. I was like, fucking hell, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't turn up completely sober.
Hey, will you leave and come back and see if your voice is different?
Yeah, yeah, sure, I can do that, yeah.
Hold on, yeah. Just messed up with it a little bit. All right. Let's see. Um I hope I don't have to try to add him back. I might have to. Or will it come up? Uh, I don't know if I'm gonna have to. Okay, there we go. Add. Hello.
Hello?
Okay, yeah, that's better. I don't know what happened. Your screen it's like it fade to black real quick. Not to do a pun to Alistair Black, but it fade to black and then came back and your voice. It sounded like you had me on speaker or something. That's what it sounded like.
Okay, yeah. No, I've noticed that happens sometimes on our streams, after we stream for a long time. Sometimes it will do that where it'll fade to black for a second, come back, and then I noticed that my voice is incredibly quiet, and then whenever you speak, it kind of doubles up. Um, yeah, whenever we notice that it fades to black like that and comes back, I'm just gonna have to leave and come back whenever that happens. So we'll know that for future. But yeah, just it's unfortunate how that WrestleMania ended because it could have ended in such a better way. Like Cena winning the title is not what all of us have an issue with. Like Cena winning the 17th World Championship, that was fine. Like that, like I could understand why they pulled the trigger on that, and I didn't have a problem with that. It's just that how they did it, because it just made Cody look bad. It made Cody look really, really bad. Like the fact that he couldn't overcome John Cena when he just had Travis Scott like next to him. It just looked really bad. Like you said, like the last shot of WrestleMania should have been what we saw at Elimination Chamber instead of just John Cena and Travis Scott next to each other. Like I'm sorry, if Cody Rhodes couldn't overcome someone who weighs like 150 pounds walking around with a fucking toy belt, like come on.
Yeah, I agree. And, I don't want to keep harping on it, but, it just looks bad that The Rock didn't show up in some sort of way.
Yeah,
And you're telling me today he's on Pat's show, but he couldn't be at WrestleMania 2 nights ago or 2 days ago.
yeah.
It just reeks of he just doesn't give a damn, and that's the vibe I get, and that's all I'm gonna say.
That's the thing. Like I just don't understand. Like if The Rock doesn't care, then why put himself in the storyline in the first place? Why insist on being put in the storyline just to be there for one night on Elimination Chamber, just to I guess someone will be involved with Cena's heel turn, but then not provide any like further payoff or any further explanation as to why Cena sold his soul to The Rock. Like there had to be a reason why Cena sold his soul to Rock. I mean, Cena provided somewhat of a reason. It's because he knew he couldn't beat Cody by himself in a normal singles match. But if we're going by that, then The Rock had to be there because, like, if you just have Travis Scott be out there, then Cena didn't need to sell his soul to The Rock. He could have just not done that, Rock not be involved whatsoever, and still do Travis Scott, even though that would have been just as bad. But like, you know what I mean? They didn't need to have Cena sell his soul to The Rock if The Rock wasn't going to be there at WrestleMania. And that's my biggest problem with The Rock. If you don't have the time to be there for WrestleMania or commit to a storyline, then stay away.
Mm-hmm.
Then stay away. Like, I'd rather The Rock not be there at all than be there for one moment and then don't show up for the rest of the Mania build up to, you know, finish the storyline or give us the payoff to the storyline. Like, because I guarantee it, they had to do the whole Travis Scott thing as a last minute resort for The Rock not being there and The Rock not showing up. Because I'm pretty sure Triple H would have been wanting The Rock to be there for that. It's just The Rock didn't show up, and I'm pretty sure he had to have Travis Scott as like a last minute, like, oh shit, we need to have someone help Cena win. Let's bring Travis Scott out there. I feel like The Rock just ruined the main event. The second he got himself involved in the storyline, but didn't show up for the rest of it, that was when that main event got ruined. Like if The Rock was just there and we'd had just a little bit more in there, it would have been a tons better. But
I agree.
unfortunately, that just didn't happen. But yeah, for the future, I know The Rock's not gonna be watching this, obviously, but like just for the future, like I just want to see The Rock. If he's not gonna be busy enough, if he's gonna be too busy to show up for a storyline and commit to a storyline, then don't interject yourself in the storyline. Just stay away. Just
Yeah,
stay away until you know you have the time to commit to a storyline. Do what you did last year, not this year.
I
That's just
agree.
what that's what my opinion is anyway.
I agree. But that was night one and night two. If you would have a rating out of 10 for the whole WrestleMania, what would you have this year's WrestleMania as a whole?
See, so like for me, I would give Night Two a rating. I'm gonna go an overall Mania rating in a bit, but like Night Two, I would rate like 8.59 out of 10. Um, night one, I would give like a 4. So like combining both of them, I would probably go like a 6.5 out of 10, 7 at the most. If it was me rating Mania across both nights, I'd go 6.5, 7 out of 10 Mania.
Yeah, we're basically there. I'm saying a 6 out of 10 or 6.5 out of 10 at the most. I don't think to me, I don't think this is a 7. Even though night two really boosted the entire overall, I just can't I can't see a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10 means there's a lot of stuff, majority of the stuff good. It wasn't great, and I can't get there with a 7. I just can't. But
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I do think maybe a 6 or 6.5 is more fair and more accurate. So, yeah. But overall, my closing thing about WrestleMania, and this is like my main takeaway from this WrestleMania, um, wasn't nowhere near as good as Mania 39 and Mania 40. Because like those, I say were like 8.5, 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10 Manias, like around that area. Those were really good Manias. Um, this, yeah, a bit of a step down. But to those saying that it's the worst WrestleMania of all time, or one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, or it was a really bad Mania, you guys, if you're genuinely saying that it was a really bad Mania, then you do not know the meaning of a bad Mania. 27 was a bad Mania. 29 was a mediocre kind of bad Mania. 32 was a bad Mania. 33 was a bad Mania. 34 was a bad Mania. 36 was a bad Mania. 41 was not bad. It was not fantastic. It was not great, but it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I can name many WrestleManias in the last 15 years that have been worse than 41. All the ones I just mentioned, 27, 29, 32, 33, 34, 36, all were worse than 41, in my personal opinion. As an overall Mania, they were worse. So I just feel like the people who are saying that it's the worst WrestleMania of all time, or a really bad Mania, just purely because of the ending, is being so short sighted and not giving the rest of the show the credit it deserves. The good parts of the show, anyway. Like, the two triple threat matches alone make this Mania a pretty good Mania, like a decent Mania, and followed by the IC title match, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and Becky Lynch's return, Joe Hendry's moment, um, yeah, US title match. I think overall, when you bring all those together, it was a slightly above average Mania. Just a slightly above average Mania for me. That's what it was. It was a pretty decent Mania. Not great, pretty decent. So yeah, I think everyone saying it's a bad Mania is just, yeah, it's just kind of overreacting a bit. Is what I would say. Just, yeah, I say people who are saying it's really bad, give it a second watch, but actually genuinely pay attention to the things that were really good on this show, like the things I just listed, and put that in mind instead of just focusing on the bad. Because it's easy to just focus on the bad and be like, oh, it's the worst Mania ending, or
hmm
one of the worst Mania endings ever. And yes, I do agree it's one of the worst Mania endings ever. But as our entire whole show across both nights, it's not as bad as people are making out to be.
I agree. I agree. Okay, Raw after WrestleMania was last was last night. Um, Started off the show. They did, the great old recap like they always do. And John Cena comes out, and I will say this: I do like John having the all black and not his normal Tron with all of his stuff. I do like it's just all black and it's his music. I do like that. So I hope they do that moving forward until eventually he goes back to being a baby face, because he's going to have that last run as a baby face. I don't think he's going to stay a heel for all this run. So he goes on and on and on and some people thinking maybe Cody. I don't think we're going to see Cody for a couple of weeks. I think he's going to be off television. I think they're going to give him a break because I mean he
Yeah,
has been doing the last few years. He has been doing so many appearances, this and that events. So they're probably going to give him a couple of weeks off, I will say, but it's going to be storyline driven of, he's got to step away, blah blah blah. Um,
yeah, I
so
agree.
so in my mind, I already said this while WrestleMania, when we did the last podcast 4 days ago. I believe it was 4 days ago. I said whoever Randy's facing, Randy's going to win. Plus, you got St. Louis, his hometown, at Backlash in a few weeks. You don't think he's going to have a big match? And then Cena does this little, everyone get your your phones out and do a picture. This is the last real champion. Blah blah blah, and then all you see is them Randy coming behind him and everything, which was funny. And I got to see this first part because I was on a lunch break, and then after it happened, I didn't watch the rest until after work. But the RKO to Cena was very funny because John turns around and he's like, "Oh shit," and everything,
Shit.
and,
Yeah,
it was just hilarious. So that's one match that we're getting at Backlash. That's what it looks like. I don't like it being rushed, but they have the story and the history already. So
yeah.
that doing that at Backlash, I don't mind it. So
Plus it being a St. Louis, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So
yeah,
yeah, um, yeah, I loved it. Yeah, that's something that caught me off guard when Randy did RKO Cena, and was Cena just doing the quick shit, just like turning around, shit, RKO. Like I loved it. It caught me off guard and made me cackle a bit. So yeah, but yeah, I do love the like the Cena with the whole like black Titantrons and all that. That's great. That you continue with that because that's great. Um, yeah, with Cody, I mean, this is my big timeline thing with Cena's reign. Is like obviously Cena faces Randy at Backlash. Cena retains. Cena just keeps doing his thing for like the next few months. Um, yeah, Cody will have a couple months off because he deserves it because he's been carrying the company for the last few years, especially the last year being world champion for an entire year. So he deserves a break. But it's gonna be a slow build for me of Cena and Rhodes at night two at SummerSlam, where Cody Rhodes will have his rematch, and I think that's when Cody Rhodes gets his belt back, and Cena will probably turn face after that, and then spend the last few months of his career as a babyface doing whatever. So, but yeah, I think that's the way they're going to go about it. But yeah, it's good to see Randy and Cena having one more chapter of matches together. And the best thing is, like, it's been a while since they've last faced off after their huge amount of matches in quick succession back in the day, to the point where it became a meme. But yeah, it's been a while since they last faced off, so it doesn't feel old or anything. So and plus it brings a different dynamic as Randy's the babyface and Cena's the heel. So gonna be interesting.
yeah. I'm not going to talk about all of the show because
Yeah.
I feel like I'll miss something. But so we had New Day come out, and then I hear Alpha Academy's music, and I'm thinking, what in the living fuck are they doing out here? But it made sense. Maxine said, "Well, we beat y'all last time in like 60 seconds, so y'all are like the Minuteman or something." She said something like that. I kind of
Yeah.
cackled at that line. I ain't gonna lie, I did cackle a little bit, but I was like, are we really getting the New Day versus? And then the lights go out, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So I love Rusev being back. I don't. I guess he just going to attack and crush everyone. I don't know. I guess that's what his thing is going to be because I didn't understand him attacking Alpha Academy and all that.
Yeah, I will say, like, it's good to see Rusev back and all that, and I did like the pop that he received. Like, he got a huge pop, which I love to see. But I did think the moment in which he came back was a bit weird and just random. Like, why, out of all that time of being gone for 5 years, he decides to come back, and the first people he goes to attack is the Alpha Academy? That to me just it's a bit strange. Like, he's not a tag team, so why is he going after tag teams? So yeah, no, I just find that kind of weird, but it's good to see Rusev back anyway. Just I hope they actually give him like something to do, like a storyline to actually, or like a person to feud with eventually, because I don't just want to see him just beating up random people for weeks on end, like, and that be the only direction for now. I just no, I want to see Rusev with a bit more direction than that. But it's good to see him back. He does look good as well. He looks fucking shredded. So yeah, um, who knows what he's gonna do? But I hope he actually does have a direction to go with. So yeah, but it's good to see Rusev back. A good pop for him too, which I love to see.
Yeah, I love that as well. So EO came out. Good reaction for EO. I love that for EO because some of the American crowds aren't as big or just doesn't understand EO or just doesn't really cheer for her, which kind of irritates me
Mm.
because she's one of the best wrestlers and her promo work has been better, gotten better over time too. So it kind of irritates me, but I loved how the Vegas crowd was, you know, like did cheer for her and everything like that. I
Yeah.
did not expect to see the NXT Women's Champion there and in a match with Io. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Stephanie,
definitely the care. Yeah, like that was wild. Like
I
I did not. I was in work. Like I was just scrolling through my phone because I wasn't able to watch like the whole show because I was just in work. But just scrolled through like my Twitter on occasion, just to try and keep up what's going on. And then I saw my timeline just collectively freaking the fuck out that Stephanie Vakir and Io Sky were in the same ring. I was there just like, oh shit.
yeah.
Steady, steady, steady. So yeah, and I heard they had a fucking great match too. Um,
Yeah, it was very solid watching it and everything, but it got ruined from with Roxanne, and I think that's I hope she's on the main roster because I don't see her doing anything else in NXT after tonight when she
no.
faced Stephanie for the women's championship. Then we have oh my gosh, hold on. um okay, now I'm better. But Roxanne, and then it just more surprises, and I don't think it's like her main. I don't think they're going to move everyone up in this segment, but Roxanne definitely should be just overall. But Rhea came out for the save, and I'm glad I wasn't mad to see Rhea. But then Rhea handed Io the championship and says, "I'm coming for that." And I'm thinking, didn't you just lose in this triple threat match? Like, why would you
Yeah,
be coming for Io? You can't. You in the back of the line, okay? No offense, Rhea, but you in the back of the line.
I mean to be fair, she wasn't the one pinned in the match, but
Yeah,
still, you did lose the match, so like you have to earn your way back. Um,
but
so
this
yeah,
match, this segment was really good, and I really did like it overall.
yeah, it was cool to see Stephanie Vakir and Roxanne and Julia
Yeah.
all here in the segment. Like it's nice to see the NXT women get highlighted here. So and I love the tease that they did of Rhea and Julia. Oh, give me that match in the future, please. I beg of you. Um,
It's
Julia, I can't wait to see Julia on the main roster, and Stephanie Vakira as well. Stephanie Vakira and Julia on the main roster will be stars. Like I can just think of so many dream matches for both of them. Like Julia and Io, Julia and Rhea, Stephanie Vakira and Rhea, and Stephanie Vakira and Io, and again, like in a big pay per view main event stage. Um, so many other like dream matches you could do as well. Becky and Stephanie Vakir would be awesome. Um, yeah, Julia and Becky and Julia Charlotte. Like, there's so many avenues you could go down with this. So
you
I
really.
can't wait to see. Huh?
I said you really can. A lot of
Yeah.
ways you can go.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see the day where both of them are on the main roster permanently. So yeah, but yeah, it was a good step from what I saw of it, and yeah, it was good to see, like I said, the NXT women being highlighted in this segment.
Um, the next thing I got, we had a full on Jay celebration, which I'm fine with. Um,
Yeet.
I was thinking, they did a celebration, and then he did this, and then he was talking, and then I was like, okay, that might be it. Then Sami Zayn comes out of nowhere and everything, and I'm like, okay, Sammy's back, and he just teased a lot of. He had a lot of tendencies where he was genuine, but you thought maybe he's out here to attack or trying to say, "Hey,
Yeah,
I'm like
when I
it was weird," but I know they did it on purpose. So they had another little yeet station. Then here comes Jimmy. I'm thinking, okay, this is when I ain't gonna lie, it did go on a little bit way too long for my
Mhm.
liking. But I was like, I understand it and everything. So, what did you think about that? Especially the Sammy stuff. It caught me off guard a little bit, but I was like, okay,
It's good to see Sammy back. I'm the same as you. Like, I legitimately thought for a bit that I thought Sammy was gonna turn heel and attack Jay. Like, I just had that in the back of my head. I was just there, like, oh, Sammy's gonna turn heel, isn't he? Like, I just thought it was set up perfectly for that, but no, they didn't do it. To be fair to them, but I really did think he was going to do it at one point, and then Jamie came out, and then yeah, like I don't have too much more to say about the segment than what you said yourself.
yeah,
But yeah, I I do wonder if Sammy will still turn heel on Jay at some point. Like that's just in the back of my head. But for now, I'm just happy to see Sammy back.
agreed. Um, Commentary was talking a lot during this, talking about Gunther and all that, and I guess the celebration didn't trigger Gunther at all. Hearing Pat McAfee and Michael Cole triggered him more than anything, which is wild to me because they go to an ad or something, come back, and next thing you know, Gunther is just right in their faces. I said, "What in the hell is going on?" Like I was like, "What?" Like if you like I saw clips of it beforehand, but the way if you watch it on Netflix, you're like, so Gunther got triggered by Pat and Michael Cole doing their job and their opinion based, but he didn't get mad with all this 15 minutes of celebration from Jay. Which which I'm like, okay, common sense doesn't make any sense with that. But then we get this moment where he grabs Cole, and I said, "Oh my God, no!" And then Pat literally hits him with a pretty nice forearm. I ain't gonna lie, it looked pretty nice. And then I'm thinking, "Oh shit, Pat's about to get fucked up," and he
Pat's
basically
about to
did.
die.
But I'm gonna say this: you've already talked about it a little bit, but I'm just gonna say this: Pat McAfee sold this choke so much that he started coughing up and stuff like that. I said, Pat, it's not that serious. But but he made Gunther look really good with the choke. So I will
Yeah,
give him that. But Pat, with his boys trying to get involved in everything, when stuff like that happens, sometimes it comes off as not authentic or something like that, but it really did come off really good with them trying to help out Pat and everything. to me.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it was just funny to see Gunter choke out Pat McAfee. For me, I'm not gonna lie. It was just a funny thing to see, and yeah, like I said, it made Gunter look like $1 million again. Because Pat McAfee sold his ass off for it, so fair play to him on that one. But
I
yeah, it's just what they do with Gunter going forward. Because I don't want Gunter feuding with Pat McAfee. Like, I don't want to see a full-on feud after that. I just wondered what they're gonna do with Gunter from here on out. Are they gonna have Gunter have a rematch, or like I don't wonder what they're gonna do here.
I don't. I The vibe I feel is he ain't getting a rematch anytime soon. I think I'll say this. I think him and Pat's going to have a match down the road. I don't think they just did that for no reason.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But I think it's just going to make Gunther even more dangerous when he absolutely beats the shit out of Pat again. So
Yeah,
I mean I'm all right with it if he's not going to do anything really too important or something in the importance, then I'm all right with this Pat stuff, and then let's focus back to him getting to the real stuff, the
yeah,
real big stuff. Um, Dominic Mysterio defending against Penta. This wasn't really that long of a match, and the only thing this was set up for was for JD bobblehead McDonough to come back and everything. JD, I do like JD a lot, and I'm glad that he is back from those cracked ribs and everything. But this was basically just for JD to come back and everything, and that's the vibe I get. It wasn't to have Penta have an intercontinental championship match and all that to me. So I think this was for JD to come back and just to boost Dom and see it with a pinfall victory over Penta, even though it wasn't clean.
I agree. I mean, I don't like to see Penta pin this early, but it wasn't clean, so like it's not that bad. Like if it was pinned clean, it'd be a whole lot worse. But yeah, it was good to see JD McDonough back. And yeah, it's just gonna be like where they go from here with Dom and Finn and the rest of the Judgment Day. Especially as they had that little like talk backstage before the match. So yeah, we'll see where they go with here. I think it's only a matter of time before Finn um either turns on Dom or Dom turns on Finn, kicks him out of the Judgment Day. Um, yeah. Well, we'll see where it goes from here. Personally, I would, like I said earlier, I would have just done it at WrestleMania, but yeah, we'll see where they have it happen. Maybe a backlash. Who knows?
And then just quickly because we've talked about it, new women's tag team champions once again. It doesn't make any sense. I and this Becky Hill turn could have happened at WrestleMania, where it would have been more unexpected. When I saw this match be placed for Raw again, and the way Becky was walking out with Lila and everything, it seemed like I had the vibe of Becky's turning heel, and it when I was watching it, and I it just it to me they could have done this at Mania and it would have been better. So that's all I'm more to say about that. Not
Yeah,
much to say about it.
yeah, agreed. Like I'm literally saying the same thing. Like it should have just happened at WrestleMania. It would have been more effective. It would have been a bigger moment. It would have just been better in general, and you wouldn't have wasted a day of putting the titles on Becky and Lyra just to fucking put them back on Liv and Raquel like a day later. Like there was no point to it. Like they should have just done everything they did at Raw on WrestleMania. And it would have been better. So yeah, that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, I agree. And then the final segment we had, and I knew it was going to be the final thing on the show. Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins come out. Seth with the same song. I know Josh loves that. Um, and the vibe I'm getting with Paul Heyman is it's a different Paul Heyman, and I love that. It's a different Paul Heyman. It's not the advocate. It's not the wise man, even though they still called him the wise man. Um, I think that will change eventually, but
Mm.
I don't know what they're going to call him, but I think that's going to change eventually. Um, I love how he's different. It just seems different. Paul does, and everything with Seth. Um, they were doing a lot of talks, and then Punk comes out, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is probably not it because Roman definitely going to come out. It's the Raw after Mania, and Roman basically, beats Seth down, and then does the Superman punch to Heyman, which was it. Heyman took it like a boss. I will say that. And then out of damn nowhere, here comes Braun Breaker. What do you think of this pairing? And then who else do you think is going to be added on to it? Because I think the vibe is they're adding at least one to two more people.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved it. I like you said, Paul Heyman does look different with Seth, like acting wise, which makes sense. He kind of has always been like that. Was like every person he's like with, he kind of acts differently around. Like when he acted differently with Punk than he acted with Brock. He acted differently with Brock than he did Roman, or like people like that. So he's now acting differently with Seth than he has for Punk, Brock, and Roman. Um, so yeah, I love that aspect of Paul Heyman. I think that's an underrated part of Paul Heyman's I guess character. He's just able to change his personality on the fly to who he's with and how it's suited. I think that's what makes him like the greatest manager in wrestling history. So yeah. Braun Breaker being involved in this, in my opinion, is a genius move. Like, even without Seth, I feel like Braun Breaker would have been perfect for Paul Heyman to be like a Paul Heyman guy. He just kind of gives off that vibe of like a Brock Lesnar, where he could be like a Paul Heyman guy. Um, Braun has always just given that vibe to me. So yeah, Seth, Braun together, I feel like it's a great pairing. It has a lot of potential. But I do think it's going to be more involved. I think it's going to be like a faction. Um, the two people that jump out to me most in terms of who I think is going to be joining this, one is actually a woman, and I think it's going to be the first ever Paul Heyman woman, and that's Becky Lynch. She just turned heel, so I think there's a reason why she turned heel around this time. Now that Seth's heel and the whole Paul Heyman thing going on. See, like before Braun Breaker got involved, I originally thought it was just going to be Seth and Becky as like a power couple with Paul Heyman by their side. I thought that's what it was going to be at first, but now I feel like it's going to be a full faction. So I feel like it's going to be Seth, Braun Breaker, Becky Lynch, and this one's a bit of a shout, dark horse shout, and it could happen, it might not happen, but I think Drew McIntyre might get involved in this too. I
Hmm.
I'm just getting the vibe that Drew McIntyre might get involved with this because I could see this being like Seth, Braun, Drew, Becky, and Heyman, and kind of being like their version of Evolution, or like a kind of like a version of Evolution, or kind of a version of like I don't know, just their own individual faction. I feel like that'd be a cool idea because yeah, I mean it would make sense for Drew because Drew hates Punk, Drew hates Roman. So I could see Drew fitting along well with Seth and with Braun. So yeah, no, that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm just thinking Becky and Drew is going to be the two people added to this.
I agree with the Becky part now, for sure. With how she turned, Seth has already turned. You got Braun in there. So if they are trying to do a evolution like 2.0 type, they already got Seth as Triple H. They got Heyman as Ric Flair as like the quote manager, just that can't, but he can't wrestle.
Yeah,
You got Braun Breaker, which is Batista, I would say.
yeah,
Randy Orton got to be a young star or a young upcoming person. and I don't. That's where I don't see Drew fitting in. Now it might
I
be
mean,
Drew. It might be Drew, but
yeah.
I don't see it
I was
being
gonna
Drew.
say, I don't. It doesn't have to be a direct copy of Evolution where like they all have to like similarly look like each other, or like it has to be a young guy like Randy was, or anything like that. Like Braun is like the Batista of the group, definitely. Seth is the Triple H, and Heyman is the Ric Flair. But like you said, Paul Heyman can't wrestle. That's the only
But
difference. Um, but
but that see that's where the what they're turning this faction of reminds me of Evolution. So I'm thinking they're still going to go with that route. So I would the shout that I would say the two people is either get Carmelo Hayes away from the fucking Miz, or or my pick, because I think it would help him tremendously, would be Austin Theory. So those are the two I'm going with.
okay, fair. I mean, Austin Theory does have a bit of a history with Seth in terms of a faction, because obviously Theory was with Rollins during his Messiah days. Um, that's a throwback. God, Seth Murphy, Austin Theory, and the fucking AOP. Even though AOP was only there for like a few weeks before they were put out of the whole thing completely. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, I, my gut feeling is still telling me McIntyre. I just feel like if McIntyre isn't involved in this, then what does he do? Because he's taken on Priest now, so he's done with Priest. It's I just don't see what else McIntyre might go with here. So I just feel like if he has Drew McIntyre involved, it gives him something to do. It's it makes sense because again, he hates Paul Heyman, and not Paul Heyman. He hates Roman Reigns and he hates CM Punk, the two people that Heyman turned on, and he relates to Seth on that too. Because Seth also hates Roman, Seth also hates Punk, so McIntyre relates to Seth on that one, so that gives him common ground. Um, yeah, and plus Drew McIntyre under Paul Heyman would be phenomenal, along with Seth, along with Braun. I don't know. I just Drew McIntyre is the one that makes the most sense to me. If I were to come up with something as like a link. But if it was someone like an Austin Theory to give him something to do, I would not complain about it. Or someone like a Carmelo Hayes. But I just feel like something that makes the most sense as suitability. I feel like Drew McIntyre's that guy. But we'll see. We'll see who's going to be that fourth person. But I do feel like Becky Lynch is going to be at least one of them.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. But that's all the wrestling we have. Do you have anything Liverpool to talk about real quick? I did not expect us to go this long. So
No, neither did I.
I normally leave around this time or like 10 minutes after. So quickly, I promise the next podcast we're going to talk more about it and everything. But
Yeah. So yeah, really the only thing that's changed since the last time I spoke is that we beat Leicester City Sunday. Yeah, we beat Leicester City Sunday 1-0. Trent Alexander Arnold got the win pretty late on the second half. So now we are officially only one win away from being officially Premier League champions, or Arsenal face Crystal Palace tomorrow. 8 o'clock. If Arsenal lose to Palace, we are officially champions. So we might even be champions before we even play our game this weekend on Sunday. So it's either Arsenal lose to Palace or they beat Palace and we beat Tottenham this weekend and we're officially champions. So we are this close. And it's pretty much a done deal. It's just when it's going to happen. But I honestly would rather us do it this weekend because that way we get to celebrate it at Anfield when we beat Tottenham. I'd rather that happen than just Arsenal lose to Palace and then we're just champions. I'd rather us go out on the pitch, win our match against Tottenham this weekend, and then officially become champions on the pitch. I'd much rather that. It'd be a bigger moment. So yeah, all yeah. Apart from that, not much more really to say. Apart from the summer is really looking like it's going to be a big summer in terms of players coming in, players coming out, transfers. Like we're gonna get a left back in definitely. We're gonna get a left back in to replace either Robertson or Simicast. I say Simicast is gonna be the one to go, and Kirkez is going to come in from Bournemouth. I think Milos Kirkez is going to be that player we get to replace Simicast. Robertson will be demoted to backup, and then we'll have Kirkez be that new left back. And we're definitely going to sell Darwin Nunez from what I can see in the summer, and we're going to get a new striker in. I've seen loads of names. I've seen Alexander Isak, but that one's a bit unrealistic because of the amount of money it will cost. I've seen Hugo Ekitike. I've seen Liam Delap. I've seen loads of names being linked. João Pedro. I've seen loads of names. So we'll see who we go with. But I have heard that we are going to sign a lot of players this summer, or at least like a few. But a few will be leaving as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a change of squad, a little bit of a refresh, which I feel like is needed because some of our players, although we have won the league, some players I feel like have either outstayed their welcome a little bit or they just don't contribute as much as they should. So I feel like a refresh. Plus, this is still like as much as Arne Slot's come in and done a really good job with the squad. This is still Klopp's squad because Slot didn't make any signings last summer apart from Federico Chiesa, who hasn't had many minutes. So this is still Klopp's squad. So I feel like get a few players gone, get a few players in. The Slot wants his players in, so we can play more to his system and see what he can do in the future with his players in the squad. So yeah, but yeah, I'll go more in detail on this on the next podcast, where then we will probably officially be Premier League champions, and then we can look forward to the summer. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. Hopefully, we beat Tottenham this weekend and officially crown ourselves as Premier League champions for the second time in 5 years and our 20th league title overall, tied with Manchester United. Fuck you, United.
Hopefully that is definitely the case and they just get it done this weekend. But hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Hit that like button if you did. Subscribe if you want. You don't have to. But thank you guys for anytime you popped in, talked about it, or even watch it on demand. Greatly appreciate it. And until next time, probably.
Can Arsenal win the Champions League? Good question. In my honest opinion, maybe. They have to get past PSG. Ever since PSG knocked us out, I've kind of vouched for PSG to make it to the final. So I'm going to say, in my honest opinion, no. I think PSG make it to the final ahead of Arsenal. But if Arsenal get through, fair play. Like, they knocked out Real Madrid, and that shocked me. I thought Real Madrid were going to go through. So Arsenal have already shocked me once in the Champions League this season. So I'm not going to say they can't do it. And if they do it, I'll be huge. Like, their first ever Champions League. Like, for a club like Arsenal to have never won the Champions League is crazy. So if they win their first one, then fair play to Arsenal, fair play to Mikel Arteta. I still don't see it though. I think PSG will make it to the final ahead of them, and I think it'll be PSG versus Barcelona in the final. That's what I personally think, and I think then it's a toss-up between PSG and Barcelona. I think PSG and Barcelona overall have been the best teams in Europe this season. I think PSG overall have been on form the best team this season. When you look at what they've done in Ligue 1, yes, it's Ligue 1, but they're still invincible, I think, aren't they? So they're doing incredible there. They've already won Ligue 1, and they've looked formidable in the Champions League. So, yeah. I'm personally going to go with either PSG or Barcelona to win the Champions League. That's what I think. So yeah, I don't think Arsenal are going to get it done. But if they do, fair play to them. Like I will put my hands up and be like, fair play. So yeah, but that's what I got to say about that.
I'm dying over here. Okay. Oh man. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed and everything. But now I get to unfortunately go into work and everything, and then I got to bring my phone charger because my phone is legit almost dying. But all right, hope you guys have a great day, great night, wherever you may be, and see you guys next time.
Take care, guys.